Hi everybody, and now for the next review. So in this particular review, we have gone somewhere completely different. This is from TBLEAGUE, and it's Vampirella, of the old school fame of Vampirella at 1/12 scale. And the TBLEAGUE is similar to Phison, just like the Seance Cerebus, or Seance era Cerebus anime-like figure I reviewed. This is basically the exact same type of figure. It's got a silicone covering over a stainless steel skeleton with multiple points of articulation. And this promises to be something special. So, let us begin. All right. So let's take her out of this weird prison. Now, it's kind of a plastic covered tin. Oh, we got a hand has fallen out. And it comes just like in the other one. It's very sponged together. There's a lot of different accessories here that I'm going to have to get out. And besides the main figure. But it also has a stand or a diorama, so to speak, that also has to be put together. So I'm going to get all this stuff out, and we'll go over all this stuff. All right, so here's all the stuff she comes with, and it's quite a bit, actually. So I'm going to do the easiest thing first, which is to go through the diorama, because once it's put together, we don't have to stare at it. So you get a tombstone. It's a very nice tombstone. Something you would very much like to be buried in when you be dead. And that's what it says. Dead tombstone. So somebody named Dead. And then you get this big old base. Kind of a dilapidated tree and some skulls, skeletons. Really good rock face. And on the bottom, it's kind of a rubber. Kind of a rubbery foam. And of course, you just, oh, yay, there you go. It's constructed. Put the tombstone in. She, of course, stands somewhere in there. So I'm going to put that off to the side. Now, to her actual accessories. She comes with a nice, pretty skull. It's the Mr. Skullhead show, starring him, Mr. Skullhead. All right. And it's got these little holes at the top for one of her hands has a thing where it'll you could stab her fingernails in there. It's very interesting. She can look a little scully. You get a bat that she can wear on her hand. It's very interesting. I'm trying my best to get this in focus. I can't really see. So I hope it did show up. If not, I'm sure I'll make fun of myself in the comments. Let me see. She comes with this really cool knife. I'm going to wait for it to... There we go. Da-na-da-na-na. I should be able to get it pretty close. Some light on it. Anyway, knife and tiny little hands. Is that a claw or... Oh, they're rings. So, kind of a claw hand, two of them. And then you get two open hands. I guess relaxed hands. Relaxed hands are nice hands. And she herself comes with grippy fists, both hands. Because of course. And now she comes with a series of rings. Now the rings, they will go on her thigh, her arm, and her wrists. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And you get a cape, which is black on the outside and red on the inside. And this is not some cheap cloth. This is sewn together. It does not have a wire on the inside, so it will drape naturally, and it's pretty flowy. Very Vampirella. All right, so let's go on with this figure. Take a look at it. All right, let's take a look at her up close. As you can see, she's got this frizzy hair. I've seen people attempt to water it down or use gel to get it to kind of behave, so to speak. And she has boots. There's not a whole lot in the range of movement because high heels generally don't. But it's covered. The joint is covered up by the thing. So I mean, it's obvious this boot can come off, but I don't recommend attempting it. Her outfit is about as skimpy as it is possible to get. Right down to the thong on her butt. And with a little collar. And she has little earrings. Very, very pretty. Let me see if I can get to them. I mean, they're real looped in. Jeez. Looped in earrings. They can actually move like actual earrings. Very nice. And the attention to detail is insane. And she looks very pretty. Very, very pretty. And of course everything is squishable. She's squishy. So it's the same fault rules as the other one. I mean, pretty much the same anatomy. So it means that this skin can get dirty real quick. Oh, jeez. It's impossible to keep her clothes on. But as far as articulation, I mean, you're looking at just every form of articulation that human beings are known for and can do. She can double over. I mean, you want to talk ab crunch. I mean, geez. See, she can bend over there too. She can bend supremely far back. And usually what I like about these is that there's no hindrance with head movement. I mean, well, maybe. Yeah, so she can look up via the neck and look down via the neck. You know, of course it'll twist side to side. Again, you could rotate 360, but you'll twist the skin, and that will be bad. It will ruin, and you will be upset with yourself, and you won't be able to live with yourself. So don't do it. Just don't. Floofy hair. Floofy. Floofy, 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 floofy. Yeah, it's a pretty figure. There's no denying that. So I'm going to attempt to get her stuff on. Please, put my adornments on me. I want to look very pretty. All right. So here she is, all decked out to a certain degree. I can already see the clothing has come off. But yeah, you can see where she can claw the skull in order to hold it in her hand. It's actually kind of cool. I was putting the cape on it, and there goes the skull. Get this back on. Since it looks nice and tight and stabby. By the way, this knife is some sharp stuff, man. I poked myself with it like a number of times just trying to get her put together, and it's like, good God, man, that thing hurts. It hurts. All right, and trying to put this quitamento so that it will stay a little more permanent. But yes, I bring you your skull, you freak. Don't you want to kiss the skull? Oh, no, it goes to the floor. And because of that, I stab thee. So, yep. Absolutely gorgeous. It's going to look really good on the shelf. I'm going to put her in her diorama. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it. Not just yet. So let's do some comparison because I'm eager to compare this to the Seance Cerebus. Jeez, this thing just does not want to focus on her. But I thought the camera loved me. All right, and so in our, let me off-center. It's like a football code instead of offsides. That's 2 yards, off center. I don't know where I was going with that joke, but there it is. So here she is in comparison to Milk Tea Girl, except the problem is she's leaning a little too forward. Yeah, that's a little more representative. So as far as I could tell, she's a little bit taller than Milk Tea Girl, which makes sense, and a little shorter than the Seance Cerebus character. It's the same body, basically. Yeah, it's pretty much the same body type. I'm actually really curious if you can swap heads. What do you think? Do you think you can swap heads? I mean, they are basically the same figure, but I just don't remember if that ball joint's the same size. I'm going to have a look. Well, holy shnikes, it fits. Yes, they're completely swappable because they're the same body buck, and so they have the exact same ball joint for the head. So you could totally make whatever head sculpt they've used here for Vampirella. Vampirella can go out in a different style. I'm sorry, I'm now using one hand. But that's very, very interesting and very creative, really. Especially this. This was a bit of a surprise to me that I would like this anime style character with this hairdo. If it will ever frickin' focus. For the love of Pete. Really need to do something about this camera, y'all. And I'm about to run out of battery. So, on that note, I will have to pause right here and change out the battery. Because technology. Alright, so in this comparison, we have TMNT's Renee from Nika, and we have, forgot her name again, and it's X-Rays figure. So a bit of a different scale on the X-Rays. She's definitely much taller than Vampirella, and based on the anatomy, she just doesn't fit in with that particular world, but not so much with the Renee Nika figures. She actually is very plausible. They match up really well, in my opinion. I like it a lot. And they have very similar costume aesthetic, just kind of a reversed cape. They both have a dagger. They're both deal in witchcraft and magic, so to speak. Maybe not witchcraft so much, but whatever. So yeah, me like it. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, and here we have Marvel Legends Firestar with, I want to say it's Storm Collectibles, but I know I'm probably wrong. I don't remember who makes it, but it is Tarna. And Tarna is obviously much taller than Vampirella. And Vampirella is not... It's just that her head is too small in comparison to Firestar. So when you're trying to match them up with Marvel Legends, it's just a little bit awkward, I must say. Yeah, there's a voice for you. Actually, my voice is kind of weird because I just got back from a toy convention of all places. So I've been talking all day, and then I decided, you know what? Good idea. Let's record video. Let's do that. Yeah. Smart job. Smart. All right, and in this particular comparison, we have the Black Series Star Wars Boba Fett, and we have g.i.joe Classified Zarana. Now, weirdly enough, I think she scales well with Boba Fett. I don't look at Boba Fett's large head as being a detriment because we don't, as far as scale goes, it's probably very similar underneath the helmet. And then if you look at Zarana, even though her head's still a little larger than Vampirilla's, they still scale fairly well. Not super duper, but pretty close, which probably tells me that, if I had the female figure wave from Valaverse, they would actually probably be taller than her and probably wouldn't scale all that well. But it would be something interesting to see. Well, all right, that about wraps up my review of the TBLEAGUE's Vampirella figure. And, the obvious question that one now has to ask themselves is, who is this figure for? Well, clearly this figure is for people who love Vampirella, love, sexy horror, or just like sexy figures in general. She is an exceptionally attractive figure. And one thing I will point out is, as an illustrator, I would say she's really excellent in terms of if you need reference, like a model, and you want one of those figures that can help you kind of, deal with certain perspectives when you're trying to pose and what have you. Except one of the things to keep in mind if you do want to use figures like this for reference is that they are a little bit over exaggerated, and you'll have to take that into account. You know what I'm saying? Yes, of course you do, because I speak this language thing. I don't know. I'm losing my mind. Clearly, I need to rest, and that's exactly what I shall do. But first, on with that photos. Poopy pants drop things to the floor.